This is Hello Glass, here with a glass artist to interview. Question number 1, what is your name and are you a glassblower?
Yeah, I go by Salt, and yeah, I don't know, I work with glass.
Number 2, how long have you been blowing glass and do you consider yourself a master?
Oh, wow. I've been working for like 9 years now, and I consider myself a student.
Awesome. Your favorite style or type of glass to create with?
Well, I work with the Boro mostly, and my style, well, I guess it's my own. I mean, I guess I feel like I sort of have a style that's associated with my name, so I guess I'd be the Salt style.
What state do you call home for your glass shop?
Soy de Tejas.
Do you own or work under a glass brand or an art name? He's Salt.
Salt is pretty much that's my deal.
Do you make your
living brand?
Sorry about that. You make your living solely off glass blowing?
Yes.
If you could blow glass with anyone living, who would that be?
Oh shit. That's a tough question. I wish I could got that one in advance. Anyone living? Does it have to be a glass blower?
Dude, you could blow glass with the president if you want.
He looks kind of stiff to me. I'm thinking if I was gonna do a collaboration with somebody, maybe like Crayola.
That's pretty cool, actually. What style or technique of glass is hardest for you?
I don't know. Making something symmetry is a pain in the ass. You know, it's kind of boring too because you get to be creative on one side and then you just have to like copy yourself on the other. So I guess that's probably where I would land on that answer.
Name 2 people that taught or influenced your glass skills.
Oh wow! So I definitely got to give props to Scott Deppy for sort of just shifting my paradigm. You know, when I saw his work on more than one occasion, it just expanded my idea of what was possible and allowed me to create space for myself to do stuff that I thought was not possible. And a lot of that sort of has ended up being what has become my style. And
That's a great answer.
Outside of the glass world, I draw a lot of inspiration from music, to be honest. And you know, I really like the band Ween. I don't know, A$AP Rock used to be a big influence. I don't know, things change a lot. You know, I try to put whatever's going on in my life into my work, so you know, someone from any facet of existence can really influence me pretty heavily. I just try to like let it flow through me into the work. So,
is there any style or technique of glass you would or will learn in the future?
I'd like to learn a little more scientific. I think just because it's so technically sound and it involves understanding what's happening with glass on like a fundamental level. Oh yeah, and actually I'd have to mention that makes me think of the artist Ham, and that sort of ties back into the last question with like who has influenced you, because that's another person who really shifted my paradigm personally and expanded what I thought was possible. So,
name 2 glass artists that impress you.
Oh wow, right off the top, definitely Buck is he's a ripper. And his work is super impressive, and like I know a lot of what he's doing right now is he's working with Darby and other. I mean, I could go on and on. There's a lot of artists, but as far as like within the pipe world, Buck is really pushing it, and you know, maybe even more importantly, his attitude is right where I feel like is like the best place to be. You know, he's very humble, he's very together, and he you know, he's just easy to respect. And then, let's see.
That was a great answer.
This is really tough though, because I feel like I should have put a little more thought into it. But you know, there's glass artists. I mean, William Morris, you know, he has really truly influenced me directly as far as an artist who works with glass and has put what's important to him in, you know, conceptually into his work, and created a body of work that sort of is cohesive and like speaks, and you can really you can look at his work and you get the point without necessarily understanding his background. And so that's, to me, that's powerful. That's good art, you know, that speaks that much of a volume that quickly without you necessarily having to know the language of the art.
What style or techniques in glass amazed you when you first saw them?
Oh wow! Anything disc flip was fucking. I could not understand it. You know,
Sorry about that, boss. Scott, I'm in the middle of an interview. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry about that, Salt.
that's okay. So yeah, like the Filicello technique, all that stuff is ridiculous. And then there's like a lot of this like cold working technique. You know, like the
Dude, sandblasting is
grinding
awesome.
and revealing. I'm sorry, say again.
Sandblasting is awesome. Yes.
Yeah, sandblasting. I mean, all that stuff is, you know. And then there's a lot of new technological stuff that's happening. You know, you got like people starting to use more like fire on label stuff, and then you're able to take more of like a graphic design aspect of art and apply it to glass, and I feel like that's really going to blow up in the next, you know, few years. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of technique that is amazing. And was the question
What style or technique of glass amazed you when you first saw it?
right? So yeah, that I guess it's different things at different stages of my career, but most recently, I think the fire on label stuff is. It's pretty simplistic, but I think it has it has a really
Branding
large
is amazing.
potential to grow and incorporate artists from other mediums into our work too.
Yeah, it's branding like you. I mean, you're Salt, and everybody knows that's you.
I mean, you can only sell your sculpture or whatever you make one time, but if you create an image and then you can apply that image, then you really can push that work and thus proliferate yourself, you know, that much more.
Worst injury you ever got from making glass art?
I don't know. I've burned myself quite a few times, and I've taken some serious damage with like cuts. I got like this thing on my thumb right here. I probably should have got some stitches right here at one point, but I think probably the worst injury was I was doing a demo in front of a whole bunch of people who I respected, and I fucking jammed my thumb into like a big flame, and so that hurt. It was a bad injury, but it also like hurt my pride. It was embarrassing as fuck. So I don't know, one of the two of those, I guess.
What do you wish to accomplish in the glass industry?
Well, my name kind of says it all. I wanted to add some flavor. You know, I wanted to be different. I wanted to stay humble, thus continuing to learn. You know, I wanted to preserve what is good about what we do, and you know, kind of highlight the fact that we are as much a culture as we are anything else. And so, I don't know. I guess that
That's
pretty
awesome.
much says it.
How does a glass fan get to see your work?
Well, the best way to do that is to go to your local shop, and if they don't already have it, start asking for it, because you know, if you ask enough, eventually they'll get it. I try to spread it out as much as possible. I work with as many people as possible, and
Are you on glasspipes.org or have a website?
I have stuff on glasspipes.org. It's, you know, I try to focus on making stuff more than anything. You know, I don't really spend a lot of time on the computer. You know, it's hard. Like, doing photography and posting and writing, all that stuff is a full-time job, and you know, I got a mortgage to pay now, so I try to make as much as I can. It's tough to you know, because I focus on making what I make speak to me and be something that I'm proud of. You know, and so when I sit down and post, I have to kind of apply the same standard. So you won't see as much stuff on the internet from me as maybe I would like, you know. And I'm trying to to get that going one way or another. But you know, your best bet is just to you know, put your feet on the pavement and go into your shop and ask for the artist. You know, not just me, but ask for the artist that you want to see. You know,
Awesome.
that is truly what will get the work into the shop, because you know the shop owner can't deny the customer you know, looking for something.
You've got 3 minutes to say to the world your piece. Go for it.
Wow. Talk about being on the spot. um, well, really, this is what I want to say. If you're someone who doesn't know about what we do as glass artists, for me personally anyway, my connection with the pipe and why I would apply my version of art to the pipe is because of the role that the pipe plays in our society. And you know, I put eyes and teeth, and I sort of give my pieces life, okay, because the pipe itself has this ceremonial quality, and the ceremony is sort of, it's not thought of that way by most people, but in the end you use this pipe to sort of deal with, if you're using the pipe at all, you probably are using it to sort of deal with your stresses and process you know, your state of mind, and maybe like change your consciousness. You know, there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. So I make these creatures that are pipes, and my idea is that when you have that ceremony, you're releasing this, you know, sometimes negative or frustrated energy, and so these creatures consume that energy and turn it positive, because as beings, we have the ability to change energy. You can't destroy energy, but you can you know, you can move it around. You can take propane and oxygen and make a flame and then turn that into glass, or you can take a cheeseburger and turn it into, you know, chemical energy so you can move your body. And so I make these creatures that help people deal with whatever they need to deal with. And when I started making this work, it was a reaction to sort of being bombarded by something like 3,000 pieces of advertising information a day that the average American sees, you know, and it just sort of got to me, and eventually I started to just allow that to flow through me into the work. And through that process, this style was born, and now it's applied to these pipes. And so each one of these pipes is it's like a pet. It's like a modern gargoyle. It helps protect you, and it takes that negative energy that has to go somewhere, and it uses it, and it you know, it feeds it, and thus, you know, hopefully makes your life a little better, makes things easier, you know, changes your perspective.
That is awesome. This was Hello Glass with a real glass artist interview, Salt. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.